Rockstars, Troy Dean here from RockStar Empires, and welcome back to the second live stream for the day. And Ray's getting a little bit enthusiastic with the lower thirds. My name is Troy Dean, of course. You are watching RockStar Empires. There we go, that's the correct lower third. And I have with me on the line one of my good friends who I hung out with in San Diego late last year. And we have brought him in magically with the power of the interwebs, because all the computers are connected together. And I'm talking about my good friend Nik Thakolal. Hey Nick, how you doing?
See, no, I need to do this. All right.
There we go, man. That's it. That's it. I'm good, buddy.
So,
how are you
doing?
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. And we hung out in San Diego. I met you through our good friend David Jennings, and we hung out in San Diego and we had a great time. I interviewed you by the pool, by the beach, which I still haven't published, which I'm going to very shortly. We did a video interview. And you have been very, very busy building a product, which we're going to talk about in a moment. And I'm very excited to start using this. And you reached out to me and said, hey, if you want a hand setting it up, let me know. And I said, I do want a hand setting it up. And in fact, I want to live stream it because I think this is really valuable for people who are doing any sort of marketing online. And so first of all, before we get into it, why don't you tell me why you started building LeadsHook in the first place?
I started because I bought a business out which had products that I couldn't sell. So I figured if I learned a little bit more about my customers, I might be able to sell something. And that's when I ran into Glenn Livingston, and he had published a course where they did a whole bunch of statistical whiz-bang analysis to work out the various pieces of the market and who the target customers were, and he'd set up multiple pages. And that was sort of how it started. And since then, I've been on the journey to automate that whole process as much as possible. And along the way, obviously.
Awesome. And how long have you been working on this?
Page, and then as each progressive version got smarter or better, we had to improvise, and I started building up the product, which is what we have today, which is far more scalable than what the early versions were.
Awesome, awesome. We're just having a couple of little technical issues with your audio for some reason, but no, now we're back.
Okay, let me hang on a second. Let me.
No, it's all good. Yep, no, it's all good. We're working now. Yeah, it's all good.
Right.
So we were talking in Slack previously, because I'm a wanker and I have my own private Slack channel, and we were talking in Slack a little while ago, and you were saying that you basically haven't slept for the last 4 days, and that if anyone is doing software as a service and tells you that it's easy, they're full of shit. So I know that SaaS is...
Yeah, well, I think we used slightly more vulgar words, but the sentiment is the same. Yeah, it's... well, or they're very rich, in which case they're hiring someone who is not sleeping.
That's right.
It's... They're often small, but it kind of stops the whole thing. And it could be, and it takes sometimes for hours to find the bug or the issue. And and so I've been trying to, I've been opening it up for about 20 or 30 customers in the next 24 hours. So they're finally happy with it. Because the other thing is that it is a lead generation platform. So there's no room for error, and I'm quite paranoid and pedantic about making sure that we don't release something that is not up to scratch. So this is not a typical IM product that's been made overnight. It's 3 years in development. Got about 20 betas of it on for almost a year now. So it's not something we just knocked up last week on Odesk.
Is that what they do in the internet marketing world, do they, Nick? Do they just knock something up on Odesk overnight? And
No, they just sell you product on how to get rich by selling you products on how to get rich.
They sell you software before they've even built it. All right. Hey,
That's
so
right.
just if anyone watching, can you leave us a comment under the video? Tell us that the audio is working. Give us a like, or better still, give us a love, because apparently the Facebook algorithm weights a love more than a like, just like real life. So give us a love. Let us know that this is all working. That would be great.
Will that help?
Yeah, that does help. Yeah, if you love it, that would be very yes. There we go. Just give us a love. Cool. So what we're going to do now is just dive straight in. Now, very interestingly, Nik is actually going to control my computer, which is very scary. So this is a family time slot, Nik. So feel free to drive my computer, dude, and I'll get Ray to bring it up on the screen. And
okay, let me know
we
if
are seeing it and you are controlling my screen. So here's the thing. This is what I want to do, and you're going to show me how we can set it up. It's very simple. I want to ask a couple of questions. I want to basically build a... for want of a better term, this is like a survey, right? I want to ask a series of questions about people who want to build an online course. And I want to say to them, hey, you know, have you done this step? And so basically I'm going to call it the online course scorecard. And I want to say, have you done this step? And if they haven't done the first step, then I want to say, okay,
this is off script.
Gotcha. WizTesting.com. Beautiful.
So
Okay.
I show you
If they haven't done the first thing, then I want to send them a useful blog post. If they have done it, then I want to send them to the next question, right? And if they haven't done the second question, I want to send them a useful blog post. And if they have done it, keep driving them through. And then after 3 or 4 questions, say, right, well, here's your scorecard. You now need to go and buy this product. But in the meantime, they will have still gotten these helpful blog posts based on their answers. Does that make sense?
Okay, cool. All right, we can definitely attempt to do that. Now, I just wanted to show you where this is like a scorecard type of a concept, slightly different. So quickly go through it and just show you what it does, so that you get a perception of what the end result can be if you wanted to go down this route. So then that way, then when we start creating, we're ideating around something worth ideating around. All right, so I'm just gonna go. Let's just get started. I'm just gonna pick a bunch of answers asking you a little bit about social media, the capability, skills, all this sort of stuff. Now, the LeadsHook thing that you see here, this is embedded inside a cheap HostGator website. It's a $10 website. I try to deploy things onto really cheap things just to create a more realistic situation that not everybody's going to have high-end servers and stuff. Exactly. So this is the lowest common denominator. Now, this is a checkbox question where you can have multiple responses. And we'll go next. And
you know what
control is. No.
Yes, I am one.
Just to check the, yes, there you go. Right, now we're almost at the end here. Now, I didn't have an opt-in form, but you can have that. But what you can see is that it's taken all the yes and no answers and plotted your capability live. It's on the fly calculations and created a chart and then created an image of the chart. So this can be shared now. Like I don't have any social media activated on this, but you could share that directly into the social media, the various social media platforms. In this case, based on the random answer I just selected, this particular tool is telling me that I actually suck at pretty much everything. But we're really suck at community. we have got the highest score of 0. So yeah, and so essentially what you can do is do dynamically generated content like this, interactive, whatever you call it, and because it's a journey that people go down or to go through, it allows you to them to give you much clean data as well. That's the big benefit of doing something like this, because if someone does really want to find out what their social media IQ is, then they'll bound to give you correct results. Like you don't go to if you don't call a plumber and tell him that go fix the light, you'll obviously be honest about the journey you want to go down or the answers you're looking for. All right, so now to go to the one that we're going to create, it's as simple as add, and we're going to go Troy's, oops, not Troy, Troy's super duper decision. That's what they are. They look like quizzes, but they're actually decision trees. Cool. All right. So first things first, you can have a start page. So to bring up one of those, just click this add node here, and they're the various nodes that we have available. I'll go through those as and when needed. So the start page is essentially just a welcome page. Some people use it, some people don't. If you have a beautifully designed blog post and things of that sort, that can be a start page where you're already selling the decision tree on that post or that website or for that matter, a Facebook post. So in that case, you don't need that. So I'll skip that for the moment, and we're going to go directly to the question. Now I'll let you guide me on this. What sort of a question are you asking?
The first question is, do you have your course outline planned? It's a simple, well, I mean, it could be, you know, yes, no, or I've made a start.
Course outline.
Planned.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And the answers that you have are?
Yes. No.
Okay. And so all I'm doing is just clicking add answer at the bottom to add another answer.
Yes,
and
no. And the other one is, you know, I've made a start.
Okay.
Now I'm just trying to gauge, you know.
Okay. A start. Yeah, no, that's okay. We can always go change this later. That's not a big deal. And now, a few other things you can do. If you have any images, you can.
Oh, what happened there? You back? Yep. You there, Nick? Okay, we've just lost Nick there for a moment. Hopefully we'll get him back in a moment. And there we go. Oh, there we go. You're back.
Okay. Am I back?
Yep. Just, I can't hear you. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just refresh my moderator screen so I can hear you. Just bear with me a sec, Nick.
Sure, no worries.
Okay, gotcha. You're back.
Right, I'm back. Yep. Okay, cool. You can see my thing moving on your screen? Right, okay, so essentially the image, you can upload any image you want directly in here. We also have common images, which are basically just all kinds of buttons. There's about 1,000 of them. GIFs and all kinds of colors and stuff. Just to quickly do a quick search and you add them in. The media library allows you to upload basically any image you want, PNG or JPEG, and we have compression algorithms already inbuilt, so we'll compress it right down to the proper size so that it renders properly onto desktops versus mobiles versus tablets. All right, so since we don't have an image, we'll leave it out. Now this text editor here, it's basically like a plain old text editor. You can even add images here as well. And if you want to add a video, it's pretty simple. Just press source, copy and paste your YouTube, Vimeo, whatever video code you have. And that basically will end up doing video. Now, the other thing here, images in your answers as well. So you could have an image for yes, rather than the word yes, or both. If you added all the images in and you didn't want to have the words, just go up here and click do not display or display answer images only, in which case we would display the text.
So you could be saying, you know, pick your hair type, for example. It could be straight, curly, dry. Yeah.
Correct. And you would not necessarily have to have any words to describe it. Now, we also have embed code here. Now, it says embed a video, but I've got a personal trainer client who's got maps being displayed. Where they're allowing people to select the area in which they live or something. So you can have a Google map sitting in here, or video. So here, in this case, these are videos.
I just need to keep. Yep. There we go.
Yep. All right. Cool. So these are videos at the answer level, not the video for the actual question. Okay, so people can watch videos inside the answer.
Okay, so that's high level of engagement where you could say, you know, pick the right answer by watching, pick the correct video. You know. Okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Pick the correct video would be the other way of doing it. Yeah. So because sometimes we have a hard time defining things. So in that case, video may be a good way to show, like, well, which one are you? Are you this level or this level or this level, or this type or this type or this type? In which case, you can just show a video, which would be a far easier way to doing it. Now, I'm not going to cover custom fields because you can pass all this data through the custom fields, and also you can add tracking at the node level. I'm going to cover that later if that's of interest. But that's basically, in a nutshell, is what all you do. You just press save and done. Now, to see what this looks like, I'm just going to quickly open it up. It's just plain simple, quite ugly, nothing like this one. That's because we haven't done any whiz-bangery design to it. which you can do later, just to get the whole thing up and running first. So that's what it looks like immediately. You can see that, okay, yep, cool, this looks kind of okay. Let's move on to the next question. Now, in your case, you had asked based on the answers where you want people to go. So what we are going to do is we're going to click this button, which is saying show all answers in the decision tree. So in which case, you can see all 3 answers now. So the next question.
That's an important distinction, dude. Let me just say that's an important distinction, because when I was trying to do this afternoon myself, I did not know to tick that box. So that's an important distinction. That's an important little checkbox, because that's exactly what I was trying to do. Yes, move on. Go ahead. Yes. Continue.
See, I could read your mind and I added it in.
You're a genius.
All right. That's right. Don't sleep if you want to be able to serve your clients. All right. Okay, so what's the second question? Or what's the next question in the
Okay, so if they had said, yes, they've got their course outline planned, I then want to ask them if their course outline includes modules and lessons or just a series of lessons. Because a lot of people plan their course and it ends up being 15 or 20 or 40 lessons, but they haven't thought about breaking it down into modules. So if they say, yep, I've got my course outline planned, I want to then find out how planned it is. So I want to say, do you have modules and lessons written out or just a series of lessons?
Okay, right. In that case, I'm going to do one little fanciness here, and that way we will. So I'm going to add it into one. We can split that up into hi. I'm Troy. Now this could be a video. Oops. What's your name? Right. And I'm just gonna. Oops. Gonna add a custom field. It's called first underscore name. And the value is obviously nothing, but I'm going to give it 30 characters, and voila. Okay. Now let's just make that a little bit ugly. Let's bold it up. You got to have things ugly.
That's right.
You can't have pretty things.
It's internet marketing, mate. It's got to be ugly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Internet marketing. Ugly sells. Ugly sells. All right. Cool. So save. And I'm not going to show you how we're going to use that, but let's do it in this question here. All right, so we go here, and I'm going to go first underscore name. Now, in case people are wondering how do I know all this, it's because there's a strip here with all your custom fields in it. So that's how I know. It's not that I remember anything. All right, first name. All right, what was the question again that you wanted to ask?
Yes,
do you have a course outline?
So if they say yes. Okay, so the first question is, do you have your course outline planned? And if they answer yes to that, then this question I want to say, so you're rewriting the first question here, are you?
Yeah, no, so I can change it. We can make it composite. We can make it simple. We can make it. Okay, so let's just do that. So the first is after. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. The plan question is already done.
That's right. So this one is. That's okay. This one is. Apologies. You haven't slept. I know, it's all good. This one here, it says, does your course outline include modules and lessons?
Okay. Does your course outline include? I'll fix that up later. Modules. Or
include modules and lessons. Lessons.
And lessons.
Or just lessons.
Or just lessons. Okay. Course
outline. Yep.
Outline. Yep. Okay. We'll just. How's that? Okay. Okay. Obviously, because it's the first name there.
Beautiful.
And I'm just going to do this. Right. So the answers are going to be
lessons,
just lessons, and the other answer is going to be modules and lessons. And once again, you're going to do is we're going to click this because it looks like you're going to take me down a rabbit hole. So let's make the rabbit hole here. Right. So if someone has said yes, so you see the little thing pop up there saying yes, drag it and drop it. Now what? What does the no
So
do
the
it
no
yet.
should basically send them to a useful blog post and then ask them, and then let them continue. So the no should say, well, you know, you should really think about planning your course first. Here's a useful blog post.
Okay,
You know.
all right. Okay, so I'm not going to do the automated redirects and all that sort of stuff, which you can do. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a proxy for it to show that this is kind of like where he ends up or she ends up. And I'm just going to do what's called the information field.
Okay.
And it's just going to be just let's just put info here. And you can just say,
Go check this out, and a link, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
oops, and just the normal stuff. You can, you know, add your link in. Okay, so we're not going to do that, but that's all right. So let's just save that up, and that guy or that girl exits out.
Yeah.
So we're just going to put them here, so because they're leaving us.
Oh, so they're leaving, are they? Okay.
Cool. They're leaving. They're off to your blog post. Now, the maybe person or the person who's made a start. What would you like to show them?
So them, I want to them. They've made a start. So you know, it's an interesting question, Nick. I want to encourage them to. I basically want to encourage them to do the same thing as the people on the left there. Like, so you've made a start, but does it include modules and lessons or just lessons?
Okay, so in that case, we can just do that. All right, cool. All right, now let's see what our new whiz-bang super duper stuff looks like. So we just refresh the page again. Hi, I'm Troy. What's your name? Nick. And yes, Nick, there's your course outline.
Gotcha.
So you see how the values are being passed from the other page to this one, which I believe is one of the questions you had mentioned in Slack. Now, the other thing you can do is if you were passing this from an autoresponder, and you can just go question mark and go first underscore name equals, let's say, for example, if you're using Aweber and there's, I believe his name is the field. And if you put this link inside, well, actually you wouldn't put this link, you put this link where you embed this because it's a direct link version, but for argument's sake, let's just assume that this is your, where you've embedded this particular decision tree. You could just click, add that as your link within your autoresponder system, and it'll sub the name out, and what it'll do is then it can display the name even on the first page. So here you're passing values here. Now we can go one step further. If you have a large email list, and you can just go email equals whatever email thing is, and do that. In this case, email is going to pass, which means now for this particular person, you do not have to ask them their name or the email. You've already got it.
Wow.
Because we pull it straight away from the URL and save it into the custom field.
It.
So you can start using it. Yeah. So here's where you can get a little bit gangster, is because email is the field that most autoresponder systems uses the unique identifier. So you can pass this person back into your email marketing system without ever asking them for an email. So you see how they usually we kind of bug them again for the email? Well, there's no email. There's no friction here. You can just have a bunch of questions and no answers, and we'll automatically just pass it over because you've already saved the email because you passed it through to the decision tree.
Okay.
And so it's a very low threshold way of accumulating a lot of data about your lead or customer. And that's what it was designed for. It's a data. It's a data
quick question.
System.
If you answer no, because this is fabulous, I understand this. So I can populate their first name and their email address into the URL, which you then pass into the custom field. So I can essentially then quiz my entire email database and get them to kind of opt into the survey without having to opt in because I'm already capturing their name and email address into LeadsHook. And then I understand in LeadsHook I can actually tag them based on their answers, and it will spit those tags back into Infusionsoft, right? So I end up with a whole bunch of segments in Infusionsoft.
Correct. So let me show you. So because I think the rest of it you can kind of work it out.
There's one other question I've got about this drag and drop thing. Let's say the people that say no, I haven't planned my course outline, right? I want to say, okay, you should really go and check this blog post out, but But then I want to ask them another series of questions. So I want to. So you and I talked about this in San Diego, where basically I want to give them a quick win. I want to give them like little rewards for answering the questions, but I want them to keep answering questions so that they end up on the thank you page, which is their scorecard.
Okay. So in that case, what you can do still is use either one of these information type questions, which is the one that we use on this side. Let's just plug that up. Okay. And in that case, you could just give them a quick win right over here in that case, and they'll continue. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to actually present a result page as well, which is the other way. They both do the same, pretty much the same thing, and you can continue to do that. Now in that, you can say, well, by the way, based on this, click here to continue. That's the other way of doing it. Alternatively, you can say that, oh, based on the answers you're currently giving me, I'm going to give you a customized plan at the end of this, even if you haven't made a big start. So you're future pacing the reward you're going to give them, and that's the other way to keep them within the thing. Because if the win is too big and too early, then they may not be intended to carry on.
So in the info page, for example, in that text editor, I can just put whatever text I want in there, but then I can ask questions on that info page as well.
Correct. So in this one, no, you can't have, because it's an info page. You can just say here, click here to continue. In this case, you can. Or if you want to ask directly a question onto that one, then just use just the plain Jane, the question that we had earlier, which is, I'm just going to clone that. That's the clone button right there. And just change the question into the next one, which is...
let's just say, have you written any of your lessons? For example.
Okay, so have you written any of your
You know what's going to happen
lessons?
now watching this live stream? All my competitors who are selling courses on how to make courses are going to come watch this and go and sign up for LeadsHook. You know that, don't you?
But they can't sign up because...
It's just by invitation, isn't it?
Yeah,
see? You nasty competitors. Nik is not going to let you...
All right.
No.
Am I on a break now?
No, it's the audio. The audio guy's just getting a bit enthusiastic. Yeah, Control Z. There's no undo with live. Right. There's no undo with live television. Okay. So then on. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we were saying.
So then on that screen, have you written any of your lessons? I can also put something in the text.
Call
me. Troy's competitors call me. Don't call Nik. So on that screen where it says, have you written any of your lessons, I can also put some information in there, like a little reward, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and that shows right above the question, does it? Okay.
Correct, that shows above the question.
Yep.
Cool. Now, having said that, if you don't like the way the questions are displaying, I even let you do not display title. So in case it doesn't display anything here, and just add your question here. There you go, first name.
Gotcha.
How are you?
And then the answers.
Blah,
gotcha.
blah. And that's it. And it'll be the same thing. We'll sub it here. In fact, I got some guys who are using primarily this and not even the top one. The top one is just to identify the question, and then they'll click this button and not displayed, and end up having images and videos and all kinds of fanciness here to do it. So that's the other way of doing it, and just center it and blah, 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 and do all that stuff. So, okay, so that's the other way of doing it. What we're going to do is, in this case, we're going to, I'll just leave the questions as the same because it's pretty much, and in this case, we don't want this guy here. Oops. And so we're going to delete and just drag it up it over here. Cool. So now we've got people going, based on the answers, they're going to different places. And here they have a choice again. Now, if you don't want them to, so you can keep kind of expanding out the decision tree to as wide as you want to go. Or you can start bringing them back in again. So I can have one question here and drive everybody back into the same question. So you're kind of limited by your imagination, and which is why, like when I first started working with the beta testers, they were like, "Well, how come you don't have templates?" I'm like, "What templates? Everybody's business is so different. I don't want to give you a template. Otherwise, you're working to my limitation." And you don't want to work to my limitation. I want to work to your creativity because you know your customers
something we should have talked about right at the start of this live stream is what kind of And you ran a campaign like this for Michael Gerber's book launch. What kind of engagement and conversion rates are you seeing using something like LeadsHook versus a static lead magnet opt-in page?
Okay, so because Dave Jennings, being the smart guy, I think the opt-in on the preview chapters was not as high, but sorry, Dave, if I've just misquoted you, please post in the comment and correct me. But I don't believe it was that great, because I remember him saying earlier that the engagement hasn't been that good, at least to the cold traffic. The LeadsHook, the lead magnet, the decision tree that we had made for them, which was dynamically generating a lead magnet, which is still available on beyondemyth.com, was opting it at 50%, and I believe it still is opting at 50%, even well after the campaign has already been run.
That's great.
It was also very well shared. Now, the most interesting stat was, at least when I looked at it, which was during the launch time, was the cold traffic that was coming from people who had already shared the lead magnet into social media, who were coming back, were also opting at 50%.
Interesting.
Which I had never seen before, and which was quite exciting, actually. So, and this was, and also that particular decision tree had 19 questions.
19 questions.
And which is an awfully long period time to go through. Now, that probably has a lot to do with Michael Gerber's brand name as well. So I don't want to, take.
Oh, go on. Why not? What the hell? Take the credit, Nick. And when you say the lead magnet was being dynamically generated, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so it was doing something similar to this. It was giving them their entrepreneur IQ score, I believe it was, or something of that sort. We were charting them on. Michael Gerber came up with a way in which he assessed entrepreneurs, or an entrepreneur was 4 personalities: a thinker and a
the dreamer,
and
the
something else rather. And there were 2 more. And so anyway, so we were charting them on 4 different axes, and we were asking a bunch of questions about each of those personalities. And we would chart them. And I remember at the event where we went, people were saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe that thing was so accurate."
Well, of course it is, because it's self-selection, isn't it? And it's also you're filling in the answers yourself.
Correct. And we did put a lot of effort into reading his books and making sure that the questions we did create were valid. Otherwise, he would have never approved it, actually.
Yeah.
So, and so that's that was. So that one did really well. Subsequently, I've done a few with quite a few others. Some have done even better than that, but for obvious reasons, I can't show them because they're still running, and they're theirs. So that's one of the other things. Is it's a fight club
that's
rules,
right. And the chart, it was just a data set, right? So that chart you set up, and it's just a data set plotting data on an axis.
Yep. And right now, and how we're doing that here is, and I'll just quickly show it, and I'll probably a conversation for another day, is if you go into the custom fields here, you can add any number of custom fields that you want, and we've got the number 1, which is right here, which is where you can put numbers into it, and you can assign numbers to it. We've also got mobile phone numbers. We've also got image and video, which is something that most other platforms don't have, which means you can save any number of images into an image custom field and then display those images based on the answers people have selected. So a way to make the real would be, let's say, which superhero are you? So in the superhero image custom field, you could put Superman and Iron Man and whatever else there is, and you can show that on their results page. Okay, or video for that, if you have any customized videos that you want to show, based on what the answers that they've selected or the path they've gone down the decision tree, give the dynamically generated experience. Okay, I'll let you click that one.
And calculator I saw there, right?
Correct, and the calculator one is big fat formulas. You can do anything you want here, and so these are just custom fields you can add in here. And since we've only got one number custom field is only showing up as 1, but you can also do calculated fields of calculated fields. So for example, if I want to say, your net worth, and I ask you for your house and your car, and then I sum the 2 of them up, and then I want to now use that number into how much debt you can get. I can use then your net worth, which is a calculated field, into another.
Sounds like you're targeting the.
And you can get as complex as you want. You can do mortgage calculations. I mean, if you want, you could do thermonuclear reactions if you want.
Sounds like you're targeting the finance lending market there, Nick.
Yeah, so I've got a few guys in the debt market that are using it. But having said that, it's also applicable to someone like you who may want to say, how much money are you leaving on the table by not using RockStar Empires to develop their WordPress consulting businesses?
So how do I get a value in those score fields that I can then use in these formulas? Is that just in the answer?
Yeah, correct. And that's just, so first things first, you want to create yourself a number field. So for example, let's say if I have, I don't know, give me an example of a question we may want to ask next where you want to capture a number.
What's the size of their list that they're going to promote their course to?
Okay, all right. So, whoops, can't have that. We're going to have list size. And we're going to call this size of list, and it's going to be a number field. The default value is 0. And we're just going to throw that as a number. I won't make it required. And so we've got list size now. Let's go back to our decision tree, and let's open this bad boy up. And we're going to go add, and I'm going to drag and drop that. And we're going to have a number field, and we're going to ask what is your list? What is the size of the list? And let's go down here and add the custom field to which you want to add that value, which case it's this one.
Gotcha.
Right. So whatever number someone puts in here, it'll end up in that particular in this particular. So yeah, that's how you end up doing it.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Now let's save that, and I'm guessing in our case we want to shove everybody in here, and I guess we probably should have another question above this is, do you have a list first before you ask the list size? But for purposes of this demonstration, we'll just leave it as is. All right. Yes, because if we pick no, then obviously we won't see this question. So that's why I got to put yes, and let's do lessons and modules, and the size of your list, 1,000. Obviously we've got no questions below that, but now basically that number there, 1,000, when I add it in here, is saved in that field for this particular person who's come on to do this decision tree.
And can I assign a score to a number? Can I assign a score to a custom field based on their answer? So if they say yes, give them 5 points. If they say no, give them 10 points?
Yes, because so if they sorry. Now, obviously this is just a raw field, so you can have that number. You can use this number now in another calculation if you wanted. So if you can say that if or alternatively, what we can do is have another type of a question, and which is probably more appropriate because no one really knows their list size down to the last subscriber.
Me, Nick.
It's probably
except me,
of course.
We publish it on our website, rockstarempires.com/fan club. 7,933 subscribers currently in the list. But apart from me, people don't know their list size down to the.
Correct. So size of your list, and you can have stuff like
gotcha. 0 to 1.
Less than 1,000 or whatever, and add let's
answer points. Okay.
Greater than or equal to 1,000, or something like that. Cool. Something of that sort. And all right, now in this case, we can also assign values. So we can just go in here and add a custom field.
Ah, look at that.
Add a custom field.
Got it.
So then now you can put blah, blah, blah. Cool. So that's the other way of...
so I can assign points based on the answer to their question. Exactly.
Correct. And then you can have a calculated field at the end, which is... and then you can sum up, do all kinds of whiz-bangery maths that you want to do with the calculated field. So in our case, let's say if you pick up a calculated field and you can say that take size of the list and multiply it by 1,000.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
or whatever. Cool. And that'll be a, you can save it somewhere. And then basically at the end, and then you can chart it. So in this case, we just go to charts, and I won't exactly show you how to build one of these, but basically you can create the charts, you can configure it, blah, blah, blah. And that ends up making one of these things. And then if you want to push it into social media, you just go back into your decision tree and go here. And there's a lot of settings over here. Go under viral and turn on your Facebook. And basically we push it out to whatever result you want. Now, in some cases, or in most cases, you may not want to allow people to pass the individual ones. So because it may be embarrassing, or maybe like, I can't believe, my friends will think I'm a dumbass or something. So in that case, you can pass a generic one that shows the image of that. That's what we did with the Gerber one. Is we didn't show the individual's results. We showed a blurry kind of image saying that this is the kind of result that I got. And that's one of the reasons why I believe it may have been shared quite nicely, is because it wasn't that confronting.
How much control have we got over the look and feel of those charts?
A lot. Well, in the sense that obviously a radar chart's going to look like a radar chart, and a pie chart's going to look like a pie chart. You can change coloring, numbers, graphics, sizing, font sizes,
that's just all done with CSS,
stuff,
right?
Correct. No, all done within the settings that we have under charts. Stop.
Really?
Stop. Sign up now. Call me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you generating the charts? Is that just through like a JavaScript jQuery kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a charting script that we immediately take the data to, and then we generate the chart, and then we push it through to a script that turns it into an image, because this is actually an image. Because if you want to share it, it's got to be an image.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. All right.
So it does two or three things at once.
Man. This has been mind-blowingly helpful to me, you, and the 6 people watching on live stream. And I'm sure the hundreds of people that are going to see this in the next 24 hours is going to be very helpful. Now, are you actually, I need to ask this because people want to know, are you actually taking on new customers for LeadsHook?
Yes, we're just opening up hopefully in the next 24 hours, but only for the next 20, 30 people, for a couple of reasons. Number one is most of the people that are currently using it are not of the newbie variety, and as you can clearly tell from a tool like this, it's not a nice fancy template where you can just drag and drop and do it. It actually does require you to put some effort. So not apologize. Not going to apologize for that. It is not a tool for it, but it's a tool for someone who understands their market and really wants to dominate, because that's what it's designed to do. Oops.
Oh, I think we are, but I think we're just not sharing screen, but we're still here. Yeah.
Okay. We can continue to talk.
Is there anything else you wanted to show me in the tool?
No. Anything else we can take it offline as well, because I think now you've got enough to build something, and then we can reiterate on it as to what you need. So going back, so if someone's really understands their market and really wants to have an interactive device or interactive way of allowing them to capture lots of leads and also lots of data about their leads, so that they can do highly personalized campaigns. Because one of the things I didn't show you is how you tag it up and then put it into your autoresponder system, because LeadsHook also allows you to do lead distribution directly from the canvas. So you can pass different leads into different ESPs, email service providers or CRMs, and also different lists at different service providers. So argument's sake, you've discovered that some number of people that go through this are not your customers. Some other WordPress consulting firm is far better suited to serve them.
Gotcha.
You can sell them those leads by directly adding in their Infusionsoft, Aweber, or whatever details directly into a email service provider node directly on the canvas. And so anyone who satisfies those conditions or goes down that path ends up with them. End of the month, you just send them a bill.
Okay, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. In fact, I've got a few clients that are only doing that. So they were CPA marketers before, just doing classic affiliate marketing. They're using a tool like this now to go directly to people who are buying these leads and cutting a deal, saying, okay, for every person I send you, how much are you going to pay me? And
wow. And they don't even need to opt in, right? Because if they're already in your list, you're already capturing their name and email address, which you're then feeding into a custom field. And as long as you
correct. Or you can drive it through Facebook. Now, one of the things I didn't show you was how you can do some really fancy pants retargeting and analytics, which we'll cover in a future session, because you can actually pass those custom fields that you just created, those numbers and everything, you can put them into a Facebook event.
Do you like the way Nik just invited himself back onto the show then? Did you catch that? Good work, brother. That's very exciting. Always be selling. That's very exciting, and I know that Eleanor, who runs our Facebook ads, is going to be very excited about that. My head is spinning. I'm also very excited to go back now and build a decision tree and get it out there, because we had a lead gen meeting last week with Eleanor, who runs our Facebook ads, and we had this conversation, and I said, well, I don't care what we do, but I definitely want to start running some what I call surveys, otherwise known as decision trees. And I said, let me get my friend Nik on the phone and get him to show me how to set this up in LeadsHook. So I'm very excited to do this. I've got 3 businesses that I want to trial this in. So yeah, I'll definitely be... He's closed for business. He's my secret weapon. He's my secret weapon.
That's it. No longer selling. Not available for sale.
Hey, Nik, thank you so much, dude, for getting on the line and showing us this. This is very, very cool indeed, and I look forward to taking this for a spin and feeding you back some gory details in Slack and getting you back on the show very soon for a follow-up to show us what we can do next for more advanced stuff.
And not just that, there's another thing that I didn't show you, which I want to just mention, is a decision node, which is sitting right over there, but where you can actually put if and formulas to drive people into a unique direction. So for example, if you've worked out that people who've met certain conditions or had certain answers, so if you got someone who said yes to the lessons question and has said yes to, or has a big list, then you can want to talk to them directly on the phone.
Wow.
You can do that too. You can also pass leads into an email, directly via email. So if you've got a phone system and you want to hit them right as soon as the lead has completed a thing, you don't have to wait for them to end up on a email marketing list.
Ray's nodding his head lots behind I think it's more excited about this than I am, because I think he understands the technical side of this more than I do, because basically I'm just a dumb news presenter who's kind of dead from the neck down. So the neck up, I mean. So I rely on Ray to help me get my head around this, and he's very excited about what it is you're saying, so I'm going to trust that's a good thing. No, I'm kidding.
See, that's why I got that. That's
I know,
why
and I'm telling you, Nik was the one who said, dude, you've got to hire an operations manager. And I said, well, I got this guy, Ray, floating around who I think would take the job. And Nik's like, you've got to employ him. Especially when he found out he was only $5 an hour. Nik said, you've got to employ him, otherwise I'll grab him. So that's why I grabbed Ray. And that's why he's here.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Ray, are you interested? 501 is my rate. 501.
Right. Where's the end button for Nik? How do you kick Nik out of the browser? Hey, dude, thanks very much for getting on. This has been super helpful. Awesome.
Hey, no
Thank you very
worries,
much. How did that get there? And I look forward to having you back on the show again. I need to go and fill up my water because it's empty. And I hope you've all enjoyed watching this and getting to know a little bit about Nik and how LeadsHook can help you understand your customer more, because what this all boils down to is that the better you understand your customer, the better you can serve your customer, the more impact you can have and the more revenue you will make as a marketer. That is what this is all about. So use it wisely. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, hopefully. And but for now, my name's Troy Dean. You are watching RockStar Empires, and it's your turn to rock.